Okay. You're listening to Rocket Night.
Hi, Cherise. This is Lester Chambers of the legendary Chambers Brothers. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for caring for musicians and letting the whole entire world know we rock at night.
Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights live a dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down if you feel up good. Now get on down.
Okay, we're here with Frank Grimaldi, that's how you pronounce your name, from Dirty Basement Blues Band. And how long have you guys been together?
We're just going on 3 years right now. Actually, if you, on our Facebook, like through Time Hop, that silly app, there popped up a video, and it was exactly 3 years ago, like 2 days ago, that I was, first time I sang with them. Because they started as a trio with Mike the drummer, Bodie the bass player, and Joe the guitar player, the guy that was writing most of the songs at first. They started as a trio, and I got asked to join the band like 6 months later or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's been about 3 years exactly since we've been a band.
Were they a blues band when they were together as a trio?
Well, yeah, they had the name Dirty Basement Blues, and the band was formed to kind of record and jam out some of the new songs Joe had written. And one of the first things that they decided to do was join the Detroit Blues Society Blues Challenge in 2012. And that's kind of why I got into the band. And then we went through the first year of the contest, and we won and made it to the finals, but didn't end up getting to go to play in the final round because Joe was going on honeymoon with his wife, Kat, at the time. So, But then the next year we added Pete. In 2013, we added Pete, the keyboard player, and we ended up going to the finals, and we won, and we got to go to the International Blues Challenge down in Memphis, Tennessee, and it was awesome, good times.
I bet. That's the place to go.
A lot of blues down there.
Did you eat barbecue and...
We ate more ribs and barbecue than any man could ever eat, ever. It was a good time.
They have in Memphis those goo-goo clusters, too. They're kind of like peanuts with chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Like Reese's Cups. I like those, too. So you went to Memphis, and that must have been pretty exciting there, too. Did you meet a lot of other blues bands? And
There was blues in, there's blues in every bar, every restaurant, every venue. Anywhere you went, even on the street corners, there were people playing blues. And, we met people from all over the country and all over the world. The venue we played was the Rum Boogie, was the first venue we played, and there was a band that actually advanced to the next round from the Philippines. They were called the Brat Pack. They were pretty cool. There's people from all over the world, and we ended up getting to play at the Hard Rock Cafe on Beale Street down there, and we saw acts at B.B. King's Blues House, and it was really cool. By the end of the week, everybody was just, hey Detroit, yelling at us. They recognized it. It was cool.
Did you have any original songs at that time, or were you doing covers?
We played mostly originals. I think the only cover we played while we were down there was I Can't Quit You Babe, the Willie Dixon song, and we played Walk in My Shadow by Paul Rogers, which might have been the reason we didn't advance out of the first round, because we got the scorecards back, and they were like, this is a blues competition, and you didn't dress like blues players, and you didn't act like blues players, and you didn't play blues music. And we were like, well, damn, we won the Detroit Blues Society's Blues Challenge. We thought we were a blues band.
What? How were you supposed to dress?
I don't know. You gotta wear a costume to play the blues, I guess. You gotta wear a bow tie or something. I don't know. We just dressed nicely. Like, we all wore button-down shirts and dress slacks and stuff. They were like, They said, don't wear Walmart shirts.
Don't wear Walmart. I mean, are you supposed to look like Jake and Elwood? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
With a black hat.
Yeah, that's what they want. And I guess there's blues purists out there that aren't too fond of us, but we just play what we play. We have a good time doing it, so that's all that counts, you know.
Wow. Do you have an album now? What's the story with that?
We have an LP that actually, right as we left Memphis, we came back to Detroit and did a Kickstarter and raised enough money to record our first album, Coming Clean, at Motor City Josh's Sound Shop Studios. And it's on iTunes and Amazon and CD Baby. You can pick it up, or you can stream it on Spotify. You can stream the whole album, and you can make a Dirty Basement Blues Pandora station if you like Pandora Internet Radio. The album's done a lot of good for us. It's put me in contact with a lot of people, and we're getting radio airplay all over the country and all over the world. The UK, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Russia, Florida. And right now we just finished producing a live album that we recorded at a local music hall here called Callahan's, and it's called Dirty Basement Blues Live at Callahan's, and we just got the master disc back from the producer Peter J, and we're gonna get that pressed and put out here probably in the next month or so. And right now we're about halfway done writing our second studio album that hopefully will be in the studio again before the end of this year, and get that out too.
So the first album, were you involved with the writing with that, or was that music that the trio already did?
Well, the trio, the real story is that Joe and Mike, the guitar player and the drummer, were in a band called Jam Sandwich together that formed in like 2006 and played till 2012, and that band had broke up right as I met Mike and Joe and all those guys. That band just broke up, and Joe had written 2 or 3 new songs and he wanted to record or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when I joined the band, they had 2 or 3 originals, and they were doing a couple songs that Joe had written for Jam Sandwich. And then when Pete joined the band, him and Bodie wrote a song each. Bodie wrote Just Like Poison on the first album, and Pete wrote the second song, Coming Home, which was actually about going down to Memphis.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, we all kind of started collaborating on the rest of the record. You Cursed Me, Back in My Eyes I wrote lyrics to, Nail Driver I helped write lyrics to. So this second album is actually a lot more collaborative effort as a whole band than the first one was.
Do the fellows write the music and then you listen to it and then just words pop out? What is kind of the process that you go through?
I've since I was like 13, I write down words like every day, just whatever comes into my head, and every once in a while will be a practice, like this new song that we have called You Don't Act the Same to Me. Joe started playing the riff at rehearsal one night, and we kind of started grooving to it, and I had these words written down from a long time ago that were about where I work, and I just started singing them, and then I had one verse written, and I started singing the song, and it worked out, and then they kept playing, and I went over and I took out a pen and paper and just kind of wrote the rest of the song, and that's how a lot of songs have been coming together, and it feels really natural. I think Alice Cooper said, if it doesn't happen in 5 minutes, you're forcing it.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. Now, as I've told you before, I really love your voice, because I think of, like I said, Steve Marriott, and I mean, I love blues rock. When did you discover you had a voice?
I was 13, and I just got a guitar, and we were playing in the 8th grade talent show, and we did The Ocean by Led Zeppelin, and I was just playing guitar, and our lead singer kind of petered out, like he got shy and had so when I was 13, we played in the 8th grade talent show, and the singer that was in my band kind of got stage fright, and he ended up not singing the whole song, and I was just like, man, I can do better than that. So I started singing. My 2 older sisters were both in choir and both had really powerful voices, and I just gave it hell. I didn't know I could sing. Actually, we were practicing in my first band was called The Counterculture, and we were practicing in my drummer Rob's audition at his parents' house. I think I was like 15 years old, and we needed a singer, so I was like, I'll just sing. And we would practice like every day after school. I'd ride my bike over to his house, and we would play for hours and hours and hours. And one day, we're all just kind of hanging out, and one of his neighbors comes over and he goes, you guys are sounding pretty good, except for your singer. That guy sucks. And I was like, damn, dude, I'm the singer. That hurts. And I don't know. So I just kept going, and you start getting the handle on it, and you start to be able to do a little bit more and more and more, and you start to have fun with it and learn how to control it a little bit. And I don't know, I still wish I could sing better than I could, so you're never good enough,
Well, what were you singing? What kind of music when you started out? Just hard rock, like you said, Led Zepp?
Yeah, we did some Led Zeppelin, and we did Bad Company, we did some music by Free.
So 60s stuff, really?
Yeah, 60s and 70s hard rock, and the first song that we could play was like Hey Joe, I think.
Yeah.
We would just play Hey Joe for like hours, and then we played like Grand Funk Railroad, I'm Your Captain. We learned to play that song, and we would just play, like that Frank Zappa song, Joe's Garage. We could play the same chords for hours, and we just play and play and play. And hey, that's how we had fun, and that's what we did.
You're awfully young to like that kind of music. Is that the kind of music your parents used to listen to?
Yeah, my parents got me into good music, all of us, when we were really young. I remember I was in like the 4th grade, and my dad got my sister Gabriella Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club on cassette tape, and we would like fight over who got to listen to it on our Walkman, and we dug music. My dad really taught us to love music, and my mom sang and she played the flute. I played the saxophone when I was growing up, like from 5th grade to 9th grade. I played the saxophone, I could play the piano. I was always in choir. We were in church choir and school choir and stuff.
Now, in the band, though, you do mostly singing, but you could be playing the sax or doing guitar and stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
If you wanted to.
Well, when I was asked to join Dirty Basement Blues, I was playing guitar in 2 other bands and singing. One band was called The Counterculture, and one band was called Milk and the Cookies. And Joe and Mike approached me. They said, hey, would you want to sing in this band? And I said, sure. And Joe said, listen, man, I've been in, bands with 2 guitar players always. I've never been the only guitar player in a band. Would you mind just singing? I said, why not? I don't mind. Why not? Joe's a great guitar player. I admire his playing quite a bit. And just to be part of the band, I was pretty happy at the time. So, and here it is. So I play in a band called Slowfoot now, playing guitar. So
you're in more than one band?
Oh, absolutely. That's...
Is it a different style, the other band?
It's more, right now we have like 2 original songs, and we're just playing cover songs. Play some Allman Brothers, we play Whipping Post and Trouble No More, and we play some Fish. We just, whatever we like to listen to, we try and play. We dink around in the basement, drink a couple beers, have a good time.
I love Allman Brothers. especially Whipping Post, that's a great song. Have you ever tried You're No Angel, or I'm No Angel? What is it? I'm No Angel?
I'm No Angel.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Greg Allman's great. We went to Wani 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. I don't know. We had a good time at Wani. Obviously, I don't remember when I went. It was two nights of Allman Brothers and Government Mule and Tedeschi Trucks Band. You can't miss.
You can't. I've been there. I think it was maybe about 3 years ago or so. It's been a little while, but
you had a good time too.
Great fun, definitely. Very relaxed atmosphere. Did you camp there too?
Or? Oh yeah.
You
3
did?
days.
Oh wow.
We went down with 13 guys. A group of 13 guys.
Wow. And you did the primitive camping?
Oh yeah.
I can't do that. I stayed in a hotel when I went, but you're young, you can do that.
Well, there was a couple of us, after like the second day, we're like, should we go get a hotel room? We can all go like take real showers and use the toilet and stuff like that. Charge our phones, and we were just like, nah. I went and swam in the river.
Yeah, that's pretty popular there. Oh my goodness. So, have you ever tried playing the harmonica?
I had a C harmonica for a while, and I had a little book that like taught you how to play it. And then I ran into a guy. He was a really good harmonica player at an open mic night. And he goes, "You're never gonna learn anything out of a book, man. Just keep playing." He's like, "Just keep blowing on the harp," and I didn't. I don't know. I'm sure I could pick it up if I wanted to.
Yeah, because with the blues, it goes great with it.
I really should.
To do the harp, I mean, I was thinking it would really, I have I don't know, maybe about 6 or 7 different.
That's
You
the
have
thing.
them in different keys.
Which one do I use?
Well, it depends on what key the song's in. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You can
like
play cross harp or.
It's got to be a 4th up or a 4th down, and that I don't know. I can figure it out. I'm sure.
You can do it. You play music, so I'm sure you can do it. So, any plans to do any kind of touring, or you guys are just sticking around in Detroit right now?
Well, right now we have a bunch of gigs lined up. Starting Thursday, we're playing at the Stars and Stripes Festival in Mount Clemens, Michigan, at Freedom Hill Amphitheater, and then Friday night we're playing Greektown Casino. We won a contest off a local radio station to open up a concert at the GM Renaissance Center on the Detroit River.
I saw that. I voted too.
And we ended up winning that contest, so we're playing Greektown Casino Friday night to see who we get to open for. I hope it's like the Doobie Brothers or something.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh yeah. Well, you can't miss with this. So you're gonna get to open up for a large national band. Any way you look at it.
What
so
a wonderful opportunity that will be.
And
Wow.
then the 27th, we're playing the Summer Magic Festival in Mount Clemens, Michigan. I think you have a photographer coming out to take pictures.
Yes, we do. Rocket Night will be there.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And then we have a bunch of festivals lined up through the summer. There's one day in August where we play one festival in Port Sanilac, and then we go back to Davison, Michigan to play. We're playing 2 festivals in one day. We have a good lineup for summer. We've been kicking around the idea of a tour, but nothing concrete. It's all just talking about it right now. I think that should be the goal, though, is to do even a small tour, or just tour the Midwest, or even just go around the state and tour. But to get out, people seem to dig the music, so why not, right?
Exactly. Now, you all have day jobs too at the same time. What's the good thing and what's the bad thing about being a musician, or what can you talk about that? Because it's, as we know, it's not always easy, but
the good thing about being a musician is I think you can do something that only like 3% of the people on Earth can do. I think this is the statistic, and that's pretty awesome. But it's a great way to express yourself, feelings, emotions, anxieties. You can really just play it out, or sing it out, or scream it out, and you can do whatever you want to do. You're not relegated to any forms of anything, unless you're in a chamber choir or something, I guess, but not in our music. We do what we want to do, and we express ourselves how we want to express ourselves. That's the real uptick about being a musician. The downside is if you're gonna go out and tour, if you're small time and you're doing it yourself, you're probably gonna end up paying to go play music and ride around in a van and be stinky and not eat and I don't know.
It's funny you mention paying to play music. I've heard from some people that the bands actually have to pay the venue to play. Is that true sometimes?
We don't do that, but people definitely do. It's not like the venues, in my experience, venues have never been like, give us $200 and we'll let you play. They're like, we need you to sell X amount of tickets at $20 a piece, and whatever you don't sell, you still owe us. So that's how they get you. But then they're like, after you sell 200 tickets, you can keep whatever money you sell above that. And it's like, well, great, I got 150 friends to come out, and I made $20, thanks. But I don't know.
That's what I've been hearing from people. Maybe it actually from Detroit. I wondered if it was like that in other places, but I keep hearing that same story what you just mentioned.
It's a sucker gag to get young kids, because we did it once when I was like 15 or 16 years old. We did a gig like that where we paid to play, and there's a bunch of people there, but you know what? Nobody cares, because they're there to see who they paid to come for, and then they leave or they don't care, and it's just like, wow, what a build up for nothing. I don't know. It's never worth it. There are plenty of gigs out there to get paid for. I mean, you should always get paid to play, even if it's just gas money. But really, like, when I turned 15 and I figured out that I could get paid, $300 to play music for 3 hours, I was like, man, that's awesome. That's what I want to do. But it's not always that easy.
Yeah, it seems in Detroit it's almost like payola. Like, if you pay us, the venue will say this: if you pay us, we'll let you play, blah blah blah, and that's not cool. I just wondered about that.
It stems from kids I can't even just say kids. It stems from people not wanting to just get out and do the legwork and talk to people and go play open mic nights and go to bars and just hang out and pester the owner and go up and talk to other bands. And that's really the easiest way to network yourself is through other bands. If you see a band at a club, ask if you can sit in with them. They'll probably be cool and let you do it. If you do well, they'll probably start hanging out with you, and now your circle's merged, and they're going to get you on a show at this club you couldn't get into, and you're going to get them into this club that they couldn't get into, and then you'll meet their fans will meet you, and you grow and you continue and you get bigger, and that's what we're doing right now is just networking in the state and just trying to keep plugging,
Blues rock is kind of a special niche. What's the age group that usually goes to see your gigs, your events?
The real home base for us around town is Callahan's Music Hall, and the age group there is generally older people, people 50 and above, I'd say. And I think they kind of like the nostalgia maybe of the guitar and the B3 organ sounds and funk bass grooves and riff bass rock and roll and stuff like that. And but when we play around town, if we get a big turnout of all our friends, it's age group anywhere from 22 to 50 and above, and it's you can see a lot of young kids digging the music we lay down when we get in front of them, and that's been a problem a little bit. It's getting in front of a younger crowd because bands like ours don't typically play those venues.
Yeah,
there are certain venues that have certain kinds of genres of music, and they don't book other kinds. We called one club and said, hey, we want to come play. We just put our album out. We got such and such reviews. We won this contest, blah, 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 blah. Our name's Dirty Basement Blues. Oh, no, we don't book blues bands. Click. It's like, oh, well, we don't we don't play like standard Chicago blues,
Well, they forget Led Zeppelin was considered to be a blues band.
When Aerosmith started, they were a blues
Exactly.
band.
I mean, a lot of the hard rock was blues rock. Even Humble Pie was blues rock, and
it's what those guys liked.
I don't know what they think, that there's somebody with a resonator guitar sitting there, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we play
which
all
is good, which
covers.
is still good. I mean, yeah, I don't know what these people. There's like a stereotype or something going on.
When people build walls in their head, they build up mental walls about, I don't like this style of something. You don't know what you don't like until you listen to it. And if you go into it with a negative perception in your mind, you're probably not going to like it. But if you just go into something open-minded and listen to it for what it is, you might love it. You might still hate it. Who knows?
True.
You gotta give it a shot.
That's true. That's crazy. Who do you really listen to? Let's say if you go out and buy a CD, what are the groups that you've been listening to lately?
Lately I've been listening to Tedeschi Trucks Band. I love those guys. I love Derek and Susan. I love her voice. Skull Mule just came out. That's like a new government mule project with Schofield playing guitar, and that's really, really sick. Who else? I don't buy a lot of records. I don't listen to a lot of new music either. There's a band called St. Paul and the Broken Bones going around playing a bunch of festivals right now, and this big white guy, he sings like Otis Redding, and it's incredible. And they're very soulful, and they rock. They look like a group of 4 college kids. It's a horn section, a guitar player, bass, and drums, and this guy can wail. I don't know if his name's Paul or St. Paul or what, but check him out. St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
You know what song I'd love to hear you sing is Black Coffee.
That's my favorite Humble Pie song.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
every gig we played, like in the last 6 months, somebody's told me I sound like Steve Marriott, and we don't do any humble pie. I've never been in a band that does humble
That's
pie,
great.
so why not, right?
Well, Phil Collin from Def Leppard, on his CD that he's doing with Delta Deep, the singer does Black Coffee, and I didn't realize it. Ike and Tina Turner wrote it.
Really?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
yeah, and
Humble pie song.
yeah, and the Humble Pie did it. Yeah, isn't that interesting? But I would love to see you sing Black Coffee. That's such a great, fun song. Actually, I'd love to see you sing all of the Humble Pie ones. That's my favorite band. So
Steve Marriott was a real one of a kind. Being compared to Steve Marriott's like a huge honor.
it should be. He's my very favorite singer. In fact, I was listening in the car today because I was driving around. Small Faces. You need to listen to Small Faces, at least the greatest hits. Most people think that all they had was Itchy Coo Park and maybe a couple of pop types. No, they did blues rock. If you really listen.
Small Faces was Ronnie Wood and
Well, that's
Stewart.
Faces. That's
Oh, okay.
Faces. Small Faces was Steve Marriott.
Oh.
Ian McLaughlin, Ronnie, oh God, I forgot his last name. Kenny Jones. You gotta look him up.
I'll check that out for sure.
Ronnie Lane, that's it, Ronnie Lane. But Small Faces, that's the band that Steve Marriott was in, and then he left. Then the guys went and started Faces. The guys that were left started Faces with Rod Stewart and Ron Wood and all that. But yeah, you got to listen to Small Faces, and yeah, because some of the songs from Small Faces sounds like Led Zeppelin, but you see, they were first. And
I was really into early Cream too.
Oh yes, I love
And Blind Faith after that. I really love Traffic and the Beatles. That's kind of my bread and butter. New music that I do like kind of reminds me of old music, and I guess I'm stuck in the mud. I don't know. I just like the feeling and the passion that comes out of some older recordings. You can just kind of feel it. Everything that's recorded now, I can't say everything, but most of the music now that you hear on FM radio is just like so cookie cutter, so overproduced and generic and very like flatline.
Yeah, I notice even the voices, they're not real, they're engineered, auto-tuned.
Yeah.
It's like a formula that all the engineers use. The same settings or whatever in the studio.
The auto-tune.
It's very boring. A lot of the new music, the pop music that I listen to.
A lot of what's cool about old records is the imperfections, because they were either running out of tape or the guy didn't have enough money to do another take of the song. Did you watch that documentary Muscle Shoals?
Yes. Oh, yes, that was a great documentary.
And Percy Sledge just came in and ripped that song, and his voice and just that whole recording. So it's like smoky and
what they call them, the Swamp Crew or the Swamp Boys, or what are they?
Something like that.
Yeah. And even when you think about Sweet Home Alabama, you hear in the background, "Turn it up," turn it up. But they left that in there, and I like those imperfections. I like the rawness, the motion. I think everything now is so slick and engineered and plastic and phony. I don't know.
Perfect. Music was
Yeah.
perfect.
In fact, I've been wanting to dig out my turntable. I just haven't had the time to set it up. I have a lot of albums, and I notice a lot of bands are starting to press vinyl again.
Yep, it's really popular. I was reading a stat from Devin Allman's page, and he was saying that the world's production and sales of vinyl records is almost to that of CDs right now.
Wow.
Which is, CDs are dying, so it's not too hard to understand. But if people are pressing physical copies of things, they're tending to press vinyl. We looked into it. It's a little pricey, but you'd have to charge like $25 or $30 for a record, and I don't know.
Do your friends have turntables?
Oh yeah, we all have turntables. I have my sister bought me a remanufactured Sony record player like 3 or 4 years ago for Christmas, and I have a good record collection, and I sit around listen to records all the time while I'm at home. My home hi-fi system has a little bit too much bass, and it kind of shakes the needle off the record every once in a while. So, what can you do?
I really admire the fact that you like the old equipment and the old style, and you appreciate that kind of music.
Well, analog recordings aren't sampled. That's what you're talking about when you talk about new music. It's all digitally sampled, so the computer is filling in the spaces in between the sampling points. I'm not going to bore you with the details of it, but old music was captured as it was on tape and then laid down onto a record. It was real.
Magnetic tape or whatever. And even I noticed a lot of the guitarists are going back to the effects pedals that are the old style, or even tube amps. I mean, people are getting sick of the sterile digital sound, I think. They like more of a warm sound.
I really, really love old tube amps. Joe, our guitar player, plays through a 1962 Gibson Falcon that he had reworked by Dean Zink, a local guitar shop guy around here. And it is just so warm and just great, nice depth of tone. And it's like you can't touch it. I don't know, you can't. Even I bought a newer tube amp, and it doesn't sound as good as the one from before my mom was born. You know.
Do you use wah-wah pedals?
I do. Joe has a whole mess of pedals on his board. He's got delay, and he's got a delay pedal and flanger pedals. He's got a whole host of them. I don't know. His board's always changing though, so it's hard to know what he's using from time to time. But he knows how to work them. It's a whole other nuance to playing when you start using pedals as opposed to just going straight through the amp.
I have a wah-wah pedal, but it doesn't seem to be working right. It's kind of weird, you know, when you do the wah-wah, you have to push it with your foot up and down, and people don't realize. You kind of like pump it when you're playing the electric guitar. Who would be your dream person to work with?
Do they have to still be alive?
Yes.
Said dream.
Yes. Dream person. If you had the
now,
opportunity to work with somebody who is alive, who would you like to work with?
Oh, you put me on the spot. There's so many good ones to choose from.
Well, name a few.
Geesh, I would say Eric Clapton. I really idolize him, and pretty much every project he's been in, Blind Faith and Derek and the Dominoes, I really, really loved that album, Layla and other assorted love songs. I would love to be on stage with Eric Clapton.
I would have to agree with you. It's funny, my ringtone was Sunshine of Your Love for the longest time. I mean, that bass line is great, and anything to do with, you're right, Derek and the Dominoes, Cream and all that. They just don't make music like that.
He's a very special player, and it's like we just lost B.B. King, and all my idols are getting old by a long shot, and so we got to cherish them while they're around.
That's true. That's true. Now, do you have any other hobbies besides music? What do you like to do for fun? Are you an artist as well, or what do you like to do?
I can't draw a stick figure. I'm not an artist. For fun, I like to go. You know what? It drives my girlfriend crazy because it'll be a weekend, it'll finally be a Saturday where I don't play, and she'll say, "What do you want to do?" And I say, "I want to go and see a local band at this bar." She's like, "Do you want to go see a show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I like." I like to go see music. I like to see good musicians get together and play and have a good time. That's what I like to see. Other than that, we go kayaking in the local rivers around here, and we go to the beach and go swimming in the pool. I like to lay in the sun. You can't tell by my pasty white skin. But we get together on Sundays and play kickball sometimes and drink a couple beers and have a good time. So that's not much. I'm pretty busy between work and school and band and girlfriend and everything else. I don't get out much.
Well, it's funny here. You surround yourself with music, and then what do you do for fun? You go out and watch bands.
Well, what else is there to do? There's a lot of places around here, bars, venues that have local music, but it's not a great variety of music that you get. You get kind of like around here. If you were to go to a bar on Saturday night, you'd either get a classic rock band or a bunch of younger guys trying to do like 90s alternative music, and that's about all you're gonna get. You don't see much country music around here. If you want metal, you're either gonna have to go to Flint or like Saginaw, somewhere like that.
What about the Token Lounge? I always see stuff,
Yep.
Westland or whatever.
So, like, there's definitely destinations to go see different genres of music, but right around where I'm from, you're either going to get a classic rock cover band or like music you hear on 89X, not that you know what that is. It's like punk rock, grunge kind of stuff.
I like that kind of music. Yeah. You get music from Canada, too? Stations?
Yeah, 2 or 3 stations from Windsor, Ontario. We get 89X and 93.9 The River, and I think we get an NPR station from Canada, if I'm not mistaken. But it's cool. I like picking up really weak signaled FM stations when you're driving around the state and you don't get any of your normal presets, so you kind of just tune in and see what goes on.
You know, what's funny about Detroit, having grown up there, the 60s and the 70s were, I don't know, a gold mine of bands coming out of Detroit. I mean, let's face it, Motown. I mean, look at the labels. And maybe through the 80s. And now today, I notice a lot of the bands seem to bypass Detroit. They play maybe Chicago or Buffalo, or they'll go up to I don't know, Montreal, but they bypassed Detroit.
Yeah, like
have you noticed that?
David Gilmour's coming this summer, and he's playing Chicago and Toronto. He's not coming to Detroit. And I don't
Toronto,
know why.
that's what I meant, yeah.
We have great venues, and people seem to, from what you hear, people like playing here. It's always a good crowd. I don't know if maybe it being like the murder capital of the country.
That's what I mean. I think the stigma, or the fact that everybody thinks Detroit is depressed and crime-ridden, and it's always had the reputation, even in the 60s. I mean, with the riots and stuff like that. Of course, there were riots in other cities. I mean, Chicago, Baltimore, etc. But I just noticed that because I follow a lot of the tours, because I'm looking to see who can we follow and who can we photograph, and they'll dart around Detroit. Yet the crowds in Detroit, and I know a lot of musicians say they're the most enthusiastic, best crowds to play for.
Yeah, we're nutty. I always have a good time going to concerts because everybody's excited and
Exactly. They don't just sit there. Here in Florida, where I am, I mean, I just went last week to see Everclear and the Toadies, and the people sit there, they don't even bob their head. I mean, I'm like, bouncing off the walls when I go to concerts, dancing and having a good time. And I don't know what the problem is down here, but in Detroit, people have always been very much into music, but yet all the bands are bypassing.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. It needs to stop.
Yeah, it needs to stop.
Record industry people, if you're listening, it needs to stop. Come to Detroit. We're on our way back. We're on the mend.
Yeah, there is a rebirth in Detroit, isn't there, economically?
A lot of people are opening businesses in Detroit, in downtown and midtown right now, and people are moving down into condos and apartments and renting out loft apartments and stuff like that. And there's definitely a surge of youth going down in the city, and a lot of it's like trendy to live down there now. So hopefully it'll bring about change.
That's what I thought. A lot of these old industrial buildings, warehouses, were being turned into art studios, loft apartments, like you said, kind of trendy, hip places. And I thought there was kind of a rebirth going on. But yeah, I just wish the bands would stop there and see for themselves that the people want music to come to town.
Well, people are active in downtown and around downtown. You get a lot of foot traffic of kids walking around, and they might pay $5 or $10 to go in and just see a show, even if they don't know who the band is. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you were touring around, I would certainly say hit Detroit, because any one of the clubs you go to might be packed on any given night, just because of things going on in and around town. So it's always worth it. If you were on tour, I would play Detroit.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
Thanks for the intro melody. It's called Get On Down by Billy Bass Alford. Thanks.